So parents, we know the change in bus availability is a big change for you and your children. Throughout the Good Morning Show, we've asked you to text in questions you may have ahead of tomorrow. And right now we're joined live by Greensboro Mayor Nancy Vaughn and Kevin Elwood with the Greensboro Transit Agency. Thank you both for joining us, and hopefully we can get some of these questions answered this morning. Mayor Vaughn, I'd like to start with you. Just to give some background, we know this problem started due to the shortage in school bus drivers, but how was it that the city got involved?
So we received a call on Friday from GCS leadership, Superintendent Contreras, and she explained that they were having trouble with lack of bus drivers and that they were concerned about conducting school on a regular basis come Monday, and how could we help them?
All right. Now, Kevin, I wanted to turn to you now. How will students know? A lot of questions we've had from parents as far as how students should know what city bus stop to go to and what that process will look like as far as what route to use.
Sure. Well, actually, the easiest way to find out where the closest route is to you, as well as bus stop, is to download a free app that we have. It's called Rider, R-I-D-E-R. It's available in the Apple and Android stores. And so by doing that, you're able to see real-time information on bus movement. It will show you where the closest bus stops are to you, and it will even allow you to set an alarm to alert you when the bus is arriving. That, along with the information on our website, will help them to see where exactly they would catch the bus to go to their chosen school.
Now, I saw on the Greensboro Transit Agency's website, there was a line there about possibly having to switch buses if you live a little bit further from the school. How should a student know that they might need to get off a bus and get on another one?
Well, again, if they use the Rider app, or even if they use Google Maps, you can use it as a trip planner that will tell you exactly what route you would get on, what stop you would get on. And if a majority of the riders will not need to change routes, but the ones who do, they will change at the depot, and those instructions will tell you what route to change to. Also, parents and students are encouraged to contact our customer service line, which is open whenever we are in service. That number is 336-335-6499. And the live operators will be glad to take your address and be able to tell you exactly what buses you would take to get to your school.
Now, I do just want to turn to one of the viewer questions we just got in here. This person writes in that there's a particular area in Greensboro, about 40 to 50 kids live in that area, and there's one city bus. This is on Berryman and North Church Street. If half of these kids need to ride that one bus, this person is asking whether it's possible or safe. It's my understanding, I'll transition into my next question there, that the public will also still have access to these routes. Can you elaborate on how you know there will be enough space?
Sure. Well, actually, to start off, our buses, typically our 40-foot buses will hold about 45 people seated, and then another 20 standing if need be. However, fortunately, this works out great in that we're actually offering these services during off-peak hours. So the buses should be pretty light in terms of ridership. Now, as far as the safety of riding it, of course, you know, since the beginning of the pandemic, we've been doing everything we can to protect our riders, which has included, you know, the requiring face coverings. We have sanitizer available on the buses, free masks for riders that need them. We also have sneeze guards up around the operator, and we've been sanitizing the buses in between some of the runs. So we are definitely keeping safety forefront in terms of providing these services, not only to the students, but to the community overall.
Mm-hmm. And you mentioned safety as far as, you know, COVID goes. Of course, some questions that parents have had is because the public will have access to the buses, mixing that with students. What can you tell parents about their physical safety?
Yeah. Well, I like to tell people that public transportation, it does sometimes have a negative perception in terms of crime and safety, but public transportation riders really are just a microcosm of society as a whole. The people who ride our buses, they're going to work just like we are. They're going to school, they're going to doctors, and they're a very close-knit group in terms of supporting each other. But we do take safety seriously. That is why all of our buses contain, well, first of all, a professionally trained operator that can respond to any type of emergencies. Also, we have recordings, cameras, and microphones on all of our buses that can record any incidents that may take place, and we can follow up on those immediately. We understand that there is some concern about safety, but I can tell the students and the parents that it is very safe to ride our buses. It's just as safe as flying or any other form of travel these days.
And that brings me to my next question here with the operators of the buses. What have conversations with them been like? This will obviously be a big change for them as well.
Well, it will be a change, yes, in that they're going to be getting some new riders that will need additional assistance as far as telling them, where they need to get off the bus and that sort of thing. But I mean, they have been trained. These aren't just part-time drivers. These are career operators who place customer service first, and so they will be doing their best to help the students understand how to ride the bus, answer any questions that they may have, and make sure that they are comfortable.
Mayor Vaughn, this may be a question for you as far as what your conversation was like on Friday. We know the school district has, said that this could potentially be for the next 2 weeks is what they're planning on right now. Should it go beyond that, because the bus driver shortage has been an issue for a while now, is the city prepared to provide these services past 2 weeks?
I believe we are prepared to do an ongoing service. Of course, the first couple of days, I think people should be prepared for some shifts. We will have to look at capacity on what routes and whether or not we would have to add a bus. But I do suggest that people go to the ridegta.com website also. It is very easy. There are just 5 schools in the city of Greensboro that are involved in this. You can literally click on your school and download a route to your house. We've tried to make it as easy as possible. Greensboro city staff and Guilford County School have really worked through the weekend to make this as smooth as possible transition. But I think people should expect that in the first day or two, there may be some confusion, and people just need to be patient and work together.
And to piggyback on that, the parents can pretty much just think about it as the first couple of days of school every year. When you're getting transportation in order, we're going to be monitoring closely and following up where need be. But rest assured that we're going to make sure that we take care of their precious cargo.
And the other thing to remember is that buses run throughout the day, which I think is important. So we're not talking about just one route there and one route back. They do run on an ongoing basis.
Absolutely. Great point there. And Kevin, just one last question for you. As far as what the process will look like as the route gets closer to the school, are the bus stops close right outside the school? Are kids going to be getting dropped off at their school, or will they have to walk?
Well, it depends on the school. The bus stops typically are on the edge of the campuses, and so they will have to get off the bus and then walk onto the campus. So again, but that depends on the school. If they use the Google Maps option, it will actually plan your entire trip, including how long you need to walk to the bus stop from your house and how far from the bus stop to the school.
Mm-hmm. And just one question from a viewer here. This one says, if they don't have a one card, will they be able to ride?
Well, we've been told that all of the students will have a one card. So if they do not have one, they'll need to address that with Guilford County Schools. Our operators will be looking for that one card to allow that free ride on GTA.
All right. And just as a reminder, the schools impacted, I was told before the interview started here that the list had actually changed since Friday. So just to reiterate that list, Andrews High School, High Point Central, and Kearns Academy for High Point. In Greensboro, Dudley High School, Grimsley High School, Page, Smith, and the Academy at Smith are the schools that are going to have that access to the city buses in High Point and Greensboro. Are there any other topics that you wanted to go over, questions that you wanted to answer before we wrap up here?
Just want to highly encourage the students and the parents to download the Rider app. That is really going to be the best way to make this transition as seamless as possible. Just as all of our students are today, experts with using different apps. This is one that will allow them to connect their transportation to their school.
Mayor Vaughn?
It also lets them see if buses are running late, the status of the buses. So that is very important information for them to have. And then, of course, just dress warmly, because I know the normal bus system, they get picked up very close to the house and they get picked up at the school. Some of these children will have to make transfers. So I know it sounds silly, but make sure that your kids are dressed appropriately for this new bus experience.
Absolutely. We want to thank you both for joining us this morning. The Greensboro Transit Agency is going to be hosting a live Q&A later on their social media pages. As far as this interview goes, if you missed some of it, we will have the full interview online at WFMYnews2.com right after the Good Morning Show. Parents, Guilford County Schools officials also suggest keeping the Here Comes the Bus app handy. They say any updates and new route information will be posted there. So again, the Greensboro Transit Agency is holding a live question and answer session at 5 this evening. You can view that on Twitter, YouTube, and Facebook. Just search at GTA Heat. For those of you living in High Point, you can access route information on highpointnc.gov by selecting Transit in the department's column of the Government tab. You can also pre-plan your bus trip on the website and get the latest status and alerts.